So this right here is our circuit breaker, which basically is just a special fuse, which just like your house and that breaker will pop. So when your regular fuse pops, it's a one-shot deal. Filament in there burns up, and your connection won't work anymore. Since this is on your window wipers for snowing and stuff like that, they might get hung up. So instead of you replacing this fuse, 15 times a year because the thing gets hung up, this will pop by itself, and then when the fuse cools down, it will reset. So obviously the first thing you ever want to do is you check your fuses, and of course obviously it's not working with the old fuse in there. Nothing's happening. But in order to check that, to make sure that the fuse is bad, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a known good fuse, which is this one, which you can see the filament is still in there, she's still solid, and when I go into that same thing, nothing happens. Alright, so it's not necessarily the fuse that's the problem. Never hurts to replace these things, because I'm sure that, this is from the factory, so they're bound to die eventually. But I don't think today's the day. I think it's something else, which sucks, because now it's something much worse. After my very brief diagnosis, we know that the fuse is not the problem. After tracing wires by eye, I don't see any breaks, I don't see any frays. I unplugged all this. Underneath here you'll see the worm gear that controls the actual wiper movement. I don't hear the motor moving itself, so it's not like it's a linkage problem. Now, besides just starting to buy and replace components and sit here for 6 hours and tracing wires down to the dash onto the column, we're going to go for the Hail Mary, and we're just going to smack the fuck out of this motor and hope that it works. So, it's already on the column right now, so if you start seeing the little turrets moving, let me know. Wake up! I think that's a no. Alright? But that's okay, because most Hail Marys don't work, just like Fords. So a few days later, and a few dollars less in my bank account, we bought a new motor. First thing we're going to do is we're going to hook up our 2-wire connectors over here, and we're going to go ahead and turn it on the column, make sure that this actually moves, it's not a dud, and God forbid that this is not a dud, and everything else is working. That means there's a problem somewhere else. So always fun to test things before you install them, because life only gets harder once you do it. That's all plugged in. You can go ahead and watch for me. Make sure it actually turns. Turn our ignition on. And she's turning. Woo! Good to know. So a lot less bullshit than it could be. Now, as you can see here, we gotta go through. We have to take off and imagine this plate right here. And then on the back side of this plate, I see that there is threaded holes and slots that we should attach and then reattach the plate onto. Now, just for context, I've never done this, so I have no fucking idea what's gonna happen when I take this off. But logic is telling me that's what it's gonna be. So, see you in a minute. So, right here, as you can see, the third bolt that's holding this in here, which is really just a giant fucking screw, is held in underneath the shroud, in between the motor. So I'm taking my 10mm wrench, I am fishing it underneath the motor, alright, and then very slowly backing out this almost 2-inch screw. So, I don't know who designed this, or how they expect you to do this. I guess you could put a swivel on there, go out and crank, but I mean, you'd have to, this is supposed to be still locked in with a screw. This just one happens to be out. Now that I do this, oh, I hate myself. Why the fuck am I doing this? I'm just gonna put an extension on this. Delete that, delete. So, fun fact, if you ever YouTube how to do this, there's some other schmuck out there who says you need to take this off. But since I felt it's more rewarding to just kind of do it by myself, I didn't do the right thing. And as you can see right here, would have made my life a whole lot easier instead of fishing a fucking wrench up in there. But yes, that's the proper way to do it. So now what I'm running into is right here I have the motor in, and with the motor I reinstalled one of the bolts, and I got the other two kind of half in there so it can't rotate. But that bolt at the end of the actual crank, all right, is obscured right now by the arms, which I'm very slowly manipulating with locking pliers until the bolt's exposed. Once the bolt's exposed, I then need to hold it with the locking pliers so that when I turn the bolt, it doesn't just turn the whole assembly again, which is what happened the first time and how I got into this whole mess. So I got this all locked up right there. I used my 10 millimeter, went ahead, loosened up the bolt, and now when it's finger tight, gonna go ahead and loosen it the rest of the way with my hands. So there's the retaining bolt that holds it in. Now that this is loose, I'm gonna retake out these two, well, actually three screws that are in here, and the entire assembly is gonna come out. As we can see here, like I said earlier, now we have this plate removed. On the back side, we have the retaining bolts that hold it in place. Oh, like it was meant to be. 10 millimeters. Oh, yeah. Just breaking my knuckles. Let's crack all these loose. Oh my god. They really like that. Okay. One more. Just gonna hurt myself one more time, guys. Don't worry. Oh, that was way better. Okay. So now these are all loose. Let's go ahead and just pull them out by hand. And like normal, the other wiper motor looks just like it at a squint, but when you really look at it, it looks a little different. So we're just going to hope and pray that everything fits like it's supposed to. But judging by the lack of screws, the messed up cowling, all that, I have a feeling this isn't even the factory one. That most likely this has been replaced one time before. So if it worked the last time, I'm sure it'll work this time. So same pattern, just like that, just like that. That's what I meant, don't worry. And it looks like it fits, but looks are deceiving. It's kind of going in. Tell you what, the bolt definitely doesn't like it, that's for sure. That one's going in a little better. It's much tighter. So I don't know what the fuck that means, but definitely. Hopefully it's not a different thread pitch, because that'd make my life way harder than it has to be. But it looks like it's going in just fine, but you can tell by the fact that it's fractioning out that it's definitely much more tight of a fit, which could mean good things. Could mean that it's properly matched up with the thread pitch, or it could mean it's a slightly different thread pitch and we're forcing it in. Either way, it's going in. Bitch. Where my drill normally comes in. You know what? Now that I said that, I'm gonna grab my drill, because fuck this. It's definitely the wrong thread pitch. That's fine. Whatever. The fucking went on there. So we already know the motor's good because we pre-tested it. So now what we got to do is I'm gonna reinsert it. I'm gonna put these 3 screws back in, tighten it down real good, and then we have to go ahead and reattach it to the actual mechanism that moves the arms back and forth. So, as you can tell by the format so far, my time working in NASA has really helped me accomplish the things I've done on this truck. And I just want to give a shout out to Neil Armstrong, good apprentice of mine. Definitely gonna get it done, you know what I mean? All right, peace out. Yeah, it sounds good. All right, time to do the hard part, which is put the fucking linkage back together. This is our special little key, our special little wrench, and our special little boy. Here we go.
20 minutes later.
Yeah, best car wash you've ever been to. Wait till I put my tits on the window. Battery was dead. All good now. I got here as quick as I can. So, to wrap up, I did the wipers things. They fucking sucked. Don't recommend doing it. Pay somebody else. Whew. So, again, working for NASA, made this possible. Shout out. Okay? And luckily enough, if you bothered watching this long, you get to watch me eat really, really hot pizza rolls. Yeah! Thank you. Like and subscribe.